Okay. This is undoubtedly going to be a very long, boring video that I'm sure nobody's going to get on this project here. Okay, this graph here represents the 27 different emotional states that people experience, generally for around about 90 seconds per. This represents the actual mood he's in. You know, neutral's kind of neither here nor there. You can see KITT's going through his various different thoughts. He's in the startup process right now, and this screen you're looking at is actually going to be a bit of a hidden Easter egg. In other words, you won't see this screen. This process will run in the background. This process does run in the background. So what KITT is thinking is affecting his moods here. 27 different moods, 27 different emotional states being represented by this fluctuating graph here. If you watch and pay attention enough, you'll see that what he's thinking changes what mood he's in. What mood he's in affects what type of thoughts he's thinking, you know, whether he's thinking good or negative thoughts or whatever. If he's sort of reminiscing about the good old days or whatever, he tends to get in a good mood. However, if the boredom quotient gets high enough, you know, it's pretty much just like you. If you're sitting around and you're bored, that affects your mood, correct? Yeah. The more bored you get, the more sort of you tend to think more negative type thoughts. Anyway, I'm just going to let you sort of watch this and see how some of the thought process there plays out. And I'll just let that continue in a second here. But yeah, I'll show you a few scenarios once he's done his startup process. But in the meantime, just sort of watch this. Well, you can try and read fast if you can. KITT thinks fast. And watch his mood sort of fluctuate a little bit. But just going to leave you to that for a few moments. Hidden behind this screen, of course, is a startup screen that shows a bunch of different processes that KITT goes through during his startup. Roughly about 5 minutes.
Of Knight Industry 2000's microprocessor, KITT for easy reference, a KITT if you prefer.
Okay, that's the startup sequence finished. Now, an interesting thing is kind of, yeah, you notice there his mood changed to good depending on what he was thinking about there. Now, an interesting thing has kind of happened there. During the startup process, he figures that Michael is likely to be there to greet him. So the onboard status is unknown, but he assumes that that's going to be the first person to greet him because that's usually the case. Now, let's say, for instance, during his startup process and after his startup process had finished, we did not come and greet him. Like, let's say we just left him sit there for a long time, no interactions, just thinking his own thoughts here, reminiscing about the past or whatever he's thinking about. Okay? If you were to show up, depending on how long it had taken, he would have gone into more of a public mode. So on returning, he would say, well, he would possibly, depending on how long you took, would be in a bit of a bad mood and would sort of give that, Michael, is that you? Where have you been kind of thing. There's a whole scenario worked in for that type of thing. But not going to let you sit through the half hour or longer that it takes. Actually, it's well over an hour for that process to actually start to occur. Yeah, you can see how his mood is fluctuating between neutral and good, which I would say is fairly normal depending on the type of thoughts you're thinking, like what you're thinking about. If he's reminiscing and has a certain amount of nostalgia occurs in the emotional state, joy, whatever, joy, sadness. Like I say, there's 27 different human emotions that are currently being reflected here based on what he's thinking about. Anxiety, awkwardness. I mean, there's a whole range of them. You can look them up. Not going to waste your time with that. Anyway, I'm going to chime in here and get his attention, and you'll see how some of the things change depending on how we talk to him. Yeah, you'll see he thinks about what time of day it is too, day or night, this kind of thing. It's afternoon. In fact, it's much later in the afternoon, which it is. It's about 4:40. Just FYI, while time of recording this video. Is it day or night? Yeah. Hey, KITT. Hey, KITT.
What is it, Michael?
I forgot what I was going to say, pal.
Really, Michael?
Okay, that's one scenario there, and you sort of see how if you're reading that, you'll sort of see what he was thinking about there. Now, yeah, okay, I'll do this one. I'm fond of doing this one sometimes. I've been working like a dog.
No comment.
How would you know, KITT?
Michael?
What was I thinking about before I was interrupted? And then he goes back into thinking about various things. Could be almost anything. Then he's thinking about working at the foundation. Yeah, see some of these thoughts reminiscing about the past there put him in a good mood. Hey, KITT.
Yes, Michael.
How are you feeling today, pal?
Good.
Nice that he asked, yeah. What was it? Oh, yeah. Here's something interesting. If you do this and not say anything after you've, well, you'll see. Hey, KITT.
Yes, Michael.
What is it, Kit?
Just checking.
Never mind, pal. Okay, you see what he did there. And now he went back into just thinking about whatever stuff, I guess. Oh, okay, he's thinking about the good times, whatever there. Okay, now let's say I do that same scenario again, but this time I don't respond. I get his attention, I say, to get his attention, and then I don't follow up. Let's see what happens when I do that. Hey, Kit.
What is it, Michael? Michael? Michael, where are you? Michael, where are you?
Okay, so what happened there is he went through some possible reasons for why I suddenly went quiet. Like perhaps I walked away, maybe I fell asleep, maybe I died, maybe I was suddenly kidnapped. Now he goes through the statistical likelihood of either of those happening, and of course, he's got no real data to work on, so he basically just kind of rolls the dice on some of those decisions and just sort of says, oh, okay, I'll take a chance, and just sort of say, okay, 1 to 10, what's the likelihood that could happen? Just sort of roll the dice randomly. Whatever comes up is going to be likely or unlikely. And that's how he sort of makes his decision currently on that. Now, if we were to continue to not put any inputs in there or get his attention or whatever, he would eventually become more increasingly concerned and worried that something had happened. And of course, this would affect his emotions, which would change his mood, etc. Anyway, we won't put him through that. So I'll just get his attention here again. Hey, KITT.
What, Michael?
How are you feeling today, pal?
Good.
Now I'm going to show you this. I'm currently fooling him to think that there is a microcontroller connected. There's not, mind you. There is no microcontroller connected, so there's no sensors or anything. However, he partially thinks there is one because I'm way over here in the inspector. You don't see it, but I have in the inspector checkboxed that there is a microcontroller connected, just so I can test certain other functions. But rest assured, there's not. So this is why part way through you'll sort of, if you're following along, you'll see what happened. Yeah, see he's fluctuations, put him back into a neutral mood. Anyway, let me show you this. Hey, KITT.
Yes, Michael.
We're home, pal.
Wonderful. That makes me very happy.
Now in there you might have caught that he was thinking about the LDR sensor. That's the light LDR. What's light? It's like a, well, it's an LDR sensor. It senses the light, the ambient light value. Anyway, it's interesting. If there was an Arduino connected, and I'll have to test that, maybe I might at some future time. I don't know. Like I say, I'm getting a little tired of doing these videos because nobody understands what the hell I'm doing, so there's not really much point to doing them. Anyway, there is an entire process where, because KITT doesn't really have eyes to see per se, at least, outside of a camera and an LDR sensor, he's using, like, it's interesting. If I did have one hooked up, you'd sort of see the different process he would go through to try and determine where he is. And he's using a bit of deductive reasoning to sort of determine where he is. I've gave him a bit of information. I said we're at home, so there's a number of possibilities. We could be at home, parked on the home street, or at home, parked, say, in the garage. Okay, so what he would do in that particular case is he would use the computer system time to determine what time of day it is. If it's early in the morning, and the ambient lighting. Like you've seen videos, I'm sure, of the interior of my garage. The lighting at the best of times is not great in there. So if it was early in the morning and the ambient light was very low, there's a possibility I could have the garage door closed, and it's just very dimly lit in the garage, and he could be in there. If it was really bright, however, there's a possibility he could still be in the garage, and if it was early morning, the sunlight could be coming in, and that could be the reason for the bright light. So he ends up going through this process of sort of using a bit of deductive reasoning as to what time of day it is, how much light there is, to try and sort of on his own figure out, where he most likely is. Parked on the street, depending on what time of day it is the ambient lighting light or dark? Or is he parked in the garage? I could specifically tell him we're parked in the garage, and perhaps, at the end of doing all that reasoning, he might sort of later on decide to sort of get further clarification and ask on his own. See, this is the entire point to this whole thought process here, is that based on what mood he's in, based on his emotional states and like that, KITT can make his own decisions on whether he asks you a question or whether he puts himself in surveillance mode, activates his scanner, all kinds of things. Decisions he can make entirely on his own, based on what he's thinking about given any given scenario. So it's kind of interesting there. He's thinking about, is it day or night? He's already thought about this. It's afternoon. In fact, it's much later in the afternoon. He already knows this. He's got more pressing concerns to think about. That's because it's 4:53 in the afternoon. So, yeah, it kind of goes into these. Sometimes he'll go through a few things twice, sometimes. What's the other thing I wanted to do? Hey, KITT.
Yes, Michael.
Never mind, pal. Never mind, KITT. Oh, okay. I thought I had that one in there. I guess I didn't. Okay. Anyway.
Michael,
What is it, KITT?
you tell me.
Never mind, KITT. Okay. I forgot. I thought that was in there. Okay. Something else to tweak later. There's always something. Anyway, yeah, before this video gets ridiculously long, yeah, he's in a good mood again, which is interesting. Just trying to think if there was something else I wanted to demonstrate, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head, so... Anyway, he's just going through his thoughts there. Anyway, if you do get what's going on there, yeah, like I say, I'm probably not going to, I mean, if I do, I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I really don't, like I say, this channel just does not get a lot of views on this channel, so it's barely even worth my time editing together and putting together videos on this project, because nobody really pays attention to this, so it's like there's not really much point. Anyway, ciao for now. Hopefully you got something out of that. I doubt it. Anyway, adios.